Blog Talk Radio.
Thank you for tuning in, everyone, once again to the Universal Truth Evolution Blog Talk Radio Show. I'm your host today, Jerry Avalos, bringing you all the information that major media will not report on. And as many of you know, today we do have our guests, and we are kicking off our official guest lineup now today, and it's only fitting that we have Chocolate Crunch himself, the Big A, Aaron McCollum, with us. So I want to hear some clapping over those internet radio waves right now as we bring on the man who started this all himself, Aaron McCollum. How's it going, Aaron?
Hey, Jerry. How you doing, buddy?
Good, good. It's awesome to have you here. Lots to talk about, lots going on in the world, and lots of points to pull together to help make sense of it all. So wherever you want to jump in, buddy, by all means.
Well, that's just what's interesting, and I'm sure that there's people that are listeners of this who are, maybe have questions as to why I made the decision I did, and I'm more than happy to explain that. But let me just say this first: I don't believe in coincidences, and I believe that things happen for a reason. And literally, maybe a day or two after I made the drastic decision to step down, some things started occurring. Big things, as far as getting some information sent my way. It's almost as if my gears got turned back on again. The switch flipped into full speed ahead. The reason is because when I was doing the show, which I don't want people to get me wrong, I did enjoy, and again, I'll explain why I made the decision I made, but it's actually to do a 3-hour show 5 days a week. There's a lot more work that goes into it behind the scenes that some people may be aware of that I learned the hard way. The reality is that I was working 16 to 18 hours a day just on everything that involved the universal truth evolution. And it was a lot of work. and because of that work, the work that I felt that I was able to do the best, I was neglecting, and I almost in a way was becoming stagnant within myself.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Not that I wasn't learning new things with all the guests I brought on and interacting with like you and others, but I just felt that there was something missing.
Mm-hmm.
And so then I stepped down, and literally a day or two after that, I have some people who are within my, you could say, global network of intel deliver information to me. And these are people that didn't necessarily listen to the show. They were aware of it, they didn't listen to the show. So it's not like they were just sitting there on the edge waiting for me to step down. It's just that this information just happened to be at this moment found and released. And the information that was sent to me was some more information on the Gulf of Aden, which I am currently working on getting some more data. And I had a extensive conversation with a friend of mine, Robert Morningstar of UFO Digest, this morning, and I can discuss kind of a side project I'm going to be embarking on with him. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, there is another interesting thing that occurred where I was asked to be a speaker and an active participant in a very large festival happening next year called the Festival of Enlightenment. It's a very long story. I'm working with Alfred Weber on that one, and I already sent him an article, a write-up that he's going to be publishing in the Examiner, and then starting on the 27th of this month, we're going to be doing kind of a mini-series on Exopolitik TV, where I'm going to be talking about a wide variety of things that I've uncovered recently. Information's been kind of laid at my lap. Mm-hmm. And then there is the continuous work of the Gulf Oil false flag operation, which a person who wanted to remain anonymous sent me some very interesting information, some documents that I had not seen before, which in a way is one piece of the entire smoking gun that shows blatant fault and prior knowledge of what was to come with the Deep Horizon and the government's knowledge of it, and furthermore. And then there's some other things, little here and there, I'm working on as far as with what is this what's coming up as far as stewing about with North Korea, Iran, besides the Gulf of Aden, just Yemen in general, and things locally. I'm also working on, I'm going to be working on another project with Jeremiah Duncan from Project Information Generation Radio, which is on Blog Talk. And in fact, an hour after we're done with this show, I'm going to be on a roundtable show with him on his show with, I believe, Bill Ryan, Rebecca Jernigan from Journeys with Rebecca, possibly Dr. John Waterman, and another gentleman talking about some other events. So I have a lot going on top of it. I'm going to, at some point here, be doing a series of videos. What I'm doing with Jeremiah Duncan, I don't want to talk about too much yet because it's just in the works, but it's going to be active and taking an active role, going out on the streets, you could say. Going out on the streets and doing what I said I wanted to do, being actively involved in the public, meeting with people, trying to educate. It's going to be a kind of a civil disobedience resistance, but through education and trying to be positive through education. So, man, I don't even know where to begin, Jerry, because I took my little vacation. I'm still going to always make sure that I take time off here and there to enjoy time with Meredith. But it seems like my work has kicked into a higher gear than I imagined. And suddenly, through another first I'm working with Cynthia Crawford, I've been getting a massive amount of emails globally from people who have stated that they want to take a more active role. So I really want to get this grassroots movement going. And simply, I could not do that being behind the radio for 3 hours every day. And, of course, there are other reasons why I stepped down, too, which you and the rest of the team are aware of. So I guess that's the briefest description I can speak of what's going on so far. And I don't know if you wanted to ask any questions as far as what's going on with that.
Oh, yeah, sure. And, yeah, I mean, I can totally understand where you're coming from just with that amount of work. And kind of knowing what it's kind of pulling you away from your real calling. And I think, really the endeavors that you went on to create even, all of this, Universal Truth Evolution, and even just the awareness. I mean, I don't think any of us can thank you enough for it. I mean, from the bottom of my heart, too, thank you, because it's put me now, given me this opportunity now to do something that I didn't even realize that I wanted to do. But now that I'm here doing this show, it's kind of like, wow, this is something that I really do feel I should have been doing. And you made that possible, and you helped mobilize all of us to make this possible. So that, thank you for that. And I think that, so all that effort really did go somewhere and planted that seed, and now it's really growing. And it's cool to see.
Well, and I'm really glad that you guys stuck with it. That was one of the things that I was hoping would occur, because, like I told you, and I had a really great. Hello?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Okay, I heard a beep, but that may have been me.
Okay.
I had a really great conversation with one of the UT team members yesterday. Actually, it's funny because as I'm speaking with you, another person who I'm going to be bouncing a project off of them is Carrie Cassie. She's actually trying to call in right now, but Carrie's going to have to wait. Carrie's going to have to wait, and I'll call her in between this show and the next show. Very busy. I've got so much stuff going on. Carrie's got some updated information she wants to give me, and very, very busy. So I'll just put this out in the cyber collective conscious. Carrie, you're going to have to wait, sweetheart. I'll call you soon. Okay, so back to what I was saying.
Carrie. Go ahead.
So I had a really good chat with Chris Honeyfield yesterday, and it was a much needed chat because Chris was the last person in the group that I hadn't chatted with, and I'm really glad we had that conversation so I could explain. And basically what we talked about was that when you're dealing with a team that's working so closely together, and I'm going on a military mindset here. If one person from the team gets killed or is MIA or something, the rest of the team still has to be able to know how to work as a cohesive group. Yep. And there's a lot that has taken place that the people that listen to the show may or may not be aware of, but unfortunately there was a lot of unfortunate things that were going on behind the lines, behind the scenes. I'm not going to get into those details because as far as I'm concerned, that matter is done. It's closed. And I think you would agree with me on that, Jerry. But let's just say that I was watching constantly from the sidelines, and a few times I had to voice my opinion, and I was very aggravated and disappointed at some points. But no matter what, the situation, as far as I'm concerned, and I'm sure as you and the rest of the team is concerned, is resolved, and you guys are moving forward, which is great. Now I need to just state this. The show that I did on December 6th, I think I believe I exerted a lot of energy into that show. And this is just my opinion and my feeling. And I need people to understand that it wasn't the one show that caused me to decide to step away so abruptly. It wasn't that at all. I had actually been discussing my aggravation and my concerns about my own mental state and aggravation for a number of weeks privately with Meredith and she was bouncing back some things with me, and I did want to relate to the team because I needed to work out some things with myself, and it wasn't just based on things that I had observed in the chat room. I have to be honest with everybody, but I was kind of aggravated because when I was talking about something so important, I just felt like, I know that people can multitask. I know that. But you have to look at it from the perspective of someone that's speaking on the radio, that when people are chatting about one thing that has hardly anything to relate to the subject matter, when a person's typing, they're also thinking out the words in their head. So the question is, are they really listening to what is being said, or are they listening in their mind of what they want to type? This can happen. It's possible, and I do believe that people are able to do so. But I had to put that out, and I do appreciate everyone that tuned in and that does tune into the show. I do appreciate it, but I was getting a lot of emails and comments outside of the show from people who were making a lot of comments of like, Aaron, I'm here to follow you. Aaron, this and that. And what I was seeing, what I was observing, was that I was slowly becoming a figure that people wanted to follow. I don't want anybody to freaking follow me. I want people to stand beside me. I know that maybe people were just saying that as a figure of speech, but I want people to stand next to me. I want us all to be equal, strong, resistant warriors who are going to stand together and say, enough is enough. So I was observing this, and then on top of it, in my personal life, when Meredith and I were going out, I was observing a lot. I was getting aggravated, and I'm just going to say this, Jerry. I lost hope. I did. I lost hope in people. I lost hope in humanity, and I basically said, screw them all. I'm going to take care of my close friends. I'm going to take care of my wife. I'm going to get ready for what I believe is going to come, and everyone else can just fend for themselves. And that night, I was in pretty bad shape, the night of the 6th. I was in really bad shape. We'll just say that. And I'm so grateful for Meredith because she was there for me. She made sure that, I was okay. And for the next week, maybe even longer, I in a way, I'd given up. And that bothered me. It bothered me tremendously. And even though I was getting all this information fed to me, I still was like, screw it, I don't care. I felt like for the past year, and again, this is a selfish comment, and I understand that, but I had felt like, God, for the last year, I've done all these shows, I've done all this work, I've spent, 8,000 hours on the Forbidden Vault, which I calculated, that's a rough estimate. But I was like, I felt like people weren't listening. Now, I know this is a ridiculous comment to make because of all the positive feedback and all the support I've gotten since stepping aside, which, by the way, for the people in the chat room now, thank you all very much for listening to the show. Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to express what I was feeling. But that loss of hope with humanity is completely washed away. I do have hope, and that hope has reignited the hurricane, the fire within me, and I have gone full out, and I've found some new documents I'm going to be getting out. I've got this project with Jeremiah Duncan, this other one with Alfred Weber, now this one with Robert Morningstar. I'm going to be giving Carrie Cassidy a call after this show. I've got 2 shows now scheduled with Sam Muggsy on her show on Blog Talk, and furthermore, plus I've got something else coming up, again, with the Festival of Enlightenment, and as I warned Robert Morningstar this morning and Alfred Weber, who I had Skype meetings both with in the past 2 days, and spoke with Meredith about this, and you as well, Jerry, that with the information I'm going to be revealing, I may become a not so, how would I categorize this? There may be a lot of people in the truth movement and the love and light enlightenment movement, which many of them are friends of mine, but I may have a large group of people who are not going to be too pleased with me with what I am going to say. And that's okay, because as I said from the very start, I didn't do this. I didn't come out to make friends. Now, I appreciate and enjoy all the friends I have now, but when the facts are the facts and they are in plain view, it is my obligation to all of you out there to deliver the information as much as factual as possible. Mm-hmm. If you want me to talk a little bit about the Festival of Enlightenment today, I can. If you want to wait till another show, I can do that. But there will be a very detailed article published in UFO Digest and the Examiner soon. So get ready, folks, because there's going to be a lot of people that probably aren't going to be thrilled with me. But you know what? That's okay, because I am concerned greatly about this Festival of Enlightenment. And there are absolute justifiable reasons why. So there you go, Jerry.
Yeah, and this kind of wanted to speak on like how you said when you kind of hit that moment where you lost hope. I think I think a lot of us who really sincerely care hit that point because we have that fire that pushes us and everything, that we want to bring that world that we all want. We want to manifest that awesome reality so much, and then we feel like no one cares, and you're like, damn you all. And I think it's really kind of normal, because then you realize that everyone really is just human, and we're all kind of like duh in some ways anyways. Just being here, it's part of the thing we signed up for. So we all kind of move at our own pace, and so I think it's good, dude, honestly, because it really, as you've seen, it helps you kind of align your perspective and really align your energies to where you can really manifest how you feel you should. And so that's good, because then that pushes that reality towards that, benevolent, cool one more than miscreating going towards this resistance, So
yeah, and you know me, Jerry. I'm all about pushing the envelope.
Oh yeah, me too.
Yeah, and I am not. If I don't even know how to say it. I just simply I don't care who disagrees with me, as long as they are willing to have a grown-up debate with me. And I also invite people that if they want to have a debate with me, then they better be willing to back up with the kind of proof that I and others have as far as these things. And also, with this, like I've said before, I have a global network of people. Some are still actively in the military and the military-industrial complex and agencies throughout the world, here in the country. I have others that are retired. I have others that are researchers who just know how to dig. So I gather my data from lost sources. Mm-hmm. And I will say that a person I know who's in the UK sent me some information I saw this morning that, again, reinforces what I have found as far as the Festival of Enlightenment. And that person knows who they are, and I just want to say thank you to that person. They are listening to the show right now.
So just out of curiosity, is like the Festival of Enlightenment, is that something that you feel is kind of questionable in its intentions, or if you can, you said you might be able to talk a little about that right now. Is there anything like
the Festival of Enlightenment is just like many things that occur. There are layers to this onion. I have no doubt that a large percentage of the people that are involved have good intentions. I do not doubt that at all. However, it's interesting when you look at the similarities of the people that have been invited to participate, to speak. Mm-hmm. When you have people that are speaking and that are being promoted as keynote speakers are active members of the Club of Budapest and the Club of Rome who've outspokenly wrote and spoken about eugenics mm-hmm. and a type of rapture.
Yeah,
you have others that have close ties with big companies such as Nestle, Prudential, Shell Oil. You have others that have close working ties with Halliburton and more. And then when you get, when you're in my position and you have someone tell you what certain plans are, agendas with this festival, and then you have to take all the pieces and put them together. It's not a simple matter to. It's not like I could just take 5 minutes and describe what I have found. I've been doing some very in-depth research on this, with also with a huge help, because it's not all my doing, with a huge help of others, especially my wife Meredith. Meredith was actually the one who pointed out a lot of details to me. So it's a complicated matter, and it would take a bit of time to describe. But if you want,
well, I think we. I mean, I know how we've talked about this before, you and I, and how we've said how a lot of people don't understand how that ultimately there is sort of like this sort of planned disclosure kind of agenda that's going on, which works into some factions' interests, and which they kind of therefore capitalize on.
Well,
their financial interests as well as listeners.
Yeah, and one thing I do have, Jerry,
mm-hmm.
if you want, it would only take me a few minutes to read. I did a write-up on this, and it basically details everything that, in a short description about the Festival of Enlightenment and what I uncovered. So, I mean, if you want, I could read it, or we could just go on with something else.
We got time, because actually I'd like to get into what's going on in Korea too, but we still have about half an hour. So, so if you think it'd be effective, by all means. If you're still motivated to share, please do.
Okay. Well, here we go. Oh, and I am watching the chat room. Let me just say to Aloha Umi, yes, behind every man there is a great woman, and for me that woman is Meredith.
Meredith is awesome. She rocks very hard.
What's that?
I said, yeah, Meredith is awesome. She rocks very hard indeed. So.
Yeah, she is incredible. Okay, so let me just read this to you all. The following statement is my personal testimony of my initial contact, private phone call, response, and later discovery, as well as my opinion of what the true nature is concerning the Festival of Enlightenment. On December 8th of this year, I received an email from a person who was inquiring if I wanted to be a speaker and active participant in an event called Festival of Enlightenment. The person who contacted me already had me scheduled to be on his blog talk show on February 6th of 2011. Initially, I was happy to be asked to be part of an event that seemed so monumental, and had asked the person to call me the next day or so to discuss the details of this event. I had briefly scanned the website, but not in any kind of detail, yet something in my gut was telling me there was more to this than I was realizing at that moment. However, I put it to rest until I spoke to the member of the planning committee for the festival. The next day, I received a call from the person who initially contacted me to discuss the details of why I was chosen and what they were wanting me to do. Here's where it gets interesting. I then listened carefully as I am told that there is a group within the committee who want to embrace the metaphysical side of the festival more so than the organizers have expressed or wanted to do, which of course I find odd since it is a metaphysical-based festival. What this person reveals to me is that secretly with this group, they feel that the object of this event is to invite the Pleiadian race to uncloak their ships above the festival at the climax of the event. Sounds like a good idea, right? Well, things aren't always as they seem. You see, during the duration of this phone call, I am told with permission of the organizers I would be part of a series of webinars working with starseeds of all ages, but specifically focusing on children. Reason for this is that I would be a transmitter of sorts to assist in raising the vibrations of these young children. Seems innocent enough, right? Wrong. Here's why I say that. Now, these webinars, as I was told, is to ready these starseed children. I asked why, and my answer was one of the nails in this coffin. The children would be with me during a certain part of the festival where we would be in a circle or something like that, and as the, quote, ceremony carried out, the Pleiadian starships would uncloak in the sky above, and this would be the beginning of galactic ascension. Some children would stay and some would go. In other words, this is an extraterrestrial rescue mission. Now, as I have said many times before, it is indeed up to the human race to save ourselves, but once we have taken back our planet, I have no doubt contact will be made on a much larger scale. This is simply my opinion of this matter. When the phone call was coming to an end, I felt a strong need to look into this matter much deeper, as I should have from the start, and that is exactly what I did with the help of friends in my close network of intel. I could go on in the details, but I feel it is up to the individual to investigate these things for themselves. My best description is included in the document I've attached. Now, this is an email I sent out to Robert Morningstar and Alpha Weber, so there's another document in here of even more detail. So let me continue, if that's okay, Jerry.
Yeah, please.
Okay. In this massive lineup of, quote, star-studded speakers, nowhere is there anyone included in the roster I would have suggested. No Alfred Weber, Miriam Delicato, Dr. Bill Deagle, Jeff Harvey, Bob Dean, Laura Eisenhower, Andrew Bisagio, and I could go on. Instead, there are elite-type motivational speakers who have such credentials as the Club of Rome, the Club of Budapest, training consultants for some of the most dangerous companies in the world like Nestle, Shell Oil, Prudential, and more. Plus more of that, in my opinion, have never had anything constructive to this truth movement like Bono, the singer of U2, and Sir Richard Branson, the CEO of Virgin, who, by the way, are on the roster, Jerry. Mm-hmm. Other speakers who have publicly discussed their support of eugenics, and even more, who have blatant mind control, quote, workshops. Again, I could go into further detail the festival's zones for the children. Want to know more? Then I invite you to check it out for yourself at www.festivalenlightenment.com. A little bit more, Jerry, so bear with me.
Please.
What I'm about to read next is very, very important. Some may say this next comment is out of line, but if you know anything about the true Scientology, this website has a sense of it throughout. I am not saying they are affiliated, but there are some similarities, again, in my opinion. This is significant because of how this festival seems to be laid out. Again, like I said before, I am concerned that many individuals who speak out to the public on a grassroots level, independent radio, speaking events big and small, there are none invited to this event. People who have been chosen are these apparent world-famous speakers, and yet very few I have heard of, and in my line of work, I am surprised by this. Now for a military side of how this seems to me. Just a scenario for you all to consider. If I was going to plant something big that would be in plain sight for all and not exclude any man, woman, or child, I would hold or assign to have an event plan that would seem like the biggest and greatest event in history, bigger than Live Aid, bigger than Live 8, bigger than any lightworking event ever put together. Then I would make it an event unlike a standard conference. It would have to be bigger than that. Children don't want to go to a conference, so slap on the label of festival, and it's fun for the whole family. Now, next is to bring in a few well-known people like Bono, to Richard Branson, and even Deepak Chopra, so that immediate recognition takes place. That, in turn, diverts from considering who the other speakers might be, or for that matter, what they do. Location is also an important factor to consider with such a big event. This event, as I was told, is supposedly going to have 50,000 plus attendance. We would need a big space for that, yet such a small location was chosen, and that place is Evergreen, Colorado, with only 3 roads leading in and out of the town. That, to me, in a military mindset, is quite opportunistic. Strategy is the key here in order to execute an event with precise execution. How do you round up so many in a location as this? It's like herding cattle into a corral. It's known as triangulation. Take your epicenter and triangulate from there. 63 miles to the north is Fort Collins. 66 miles to the south is Colorado Springs. To the east, about 23 miles, is Denver. For those who are aware, these 3 locations have deep underground military bases that are massive. In fact, shortly after this phone call with the member of the Plan Committee, I received a call from an informant of mine in Colorado who told me without any power of suggestion that a facility outside of Colorado Springs has had major military movement and secret construction in or around the area of the base, yet some contractors that had been on the job were released due to end of contract work. However, this construction still continues. So what does this all amount to? I have much more I'll be explaining as I go deeper into my investigation to get further data on this festival, but until then, I will say this. The Illuminati has been working hard and in some cases have successfully infiltrated the truth movement since the 1960s, and all that began with the FBI operation known as COINTELPRO. It has been a conscious war ever since, but truthfully, that war has been going on for eons. Project Bluebeam is an operation that has been on, quote, hold by this U.S. government for quite some time now. This project is what I refer to as the global elite's last-ditch effort for control of the masses. It consists of a variety of highly advanced technology that is currently used in the DUMS and the secret space program. Holographic technology, HARP, satellite global mind control monitoring, and finally the use of, quote, UFOs, which are no more than advanced military craft that has the same appearance as one of the most commonly sighted aircrafts. This is known as the UFO triangle, which was originally the Aurora/TR-3B, which is now a TR-3D. Highly advanced aircraft that uses such technology as zero-point energy and cold fusion. When all else fails in keeping the masses under complete control, 2 scenarios can be executed. One is a malevolent or benevolent alien invasion, and 2 is a second coming of Christ, i.e. the rapture. Almost done, Jerry. If everything I was told by this individual who is on the Plan Committee is indeed true, and that is the ultimate plan, then I strongly advise to stay far away. The festival has one general theme. That theme is to let your mind go and embrace this, quote, new world enlightenment so that when the star friends come to us in Colorado, all will be well. Once that has happened, it will be a major blow to our movement for real disclosure and full exposure of what the elite has suppressed for so very long. I could be completely wrong about this, but to be quite honest, I don't believe I am. This year I have had a pretty good track record in which, in a way, I am not pleased with because the predictions I made were not good. I feel it is my responsibility to deliver this message to everyone and allow them to analyze what I've said for themselves. So in conclusion, I will not be attending the Illuminati Festival of Enlightenment, and I hope you reading this will not as well. If you do, please proceed with extreme caution. I will continue to look into this matter and give public updates as soon as possible. We truly are in exciting times right now on this planet, and that can lead to the urgency to rush, but we must not rush. We must be careful, watchful, calculative, and always look into any kind of matter that seems to be of uncertainty when your gut feeling tells you. As my friend Jeff Harvey always says, we are all in this together, and that is very important to understand. We must stay strong and work as a cohesive, collective conscience so that the elite fail no matter what they try. Positive thought projection is a powerful thing, but without the extremely important balance of action, it is only thought. And there you have it, Jerry.
Yeah, definitely a good statement. And I think that does lay it out quite nicely because actually this works out good because I did kind of want to touch upon Bluebeam and such too, and the whole great unveiling, or the Lumi say. Because that's interesting that this is coming up more now because just in my own research and my own assessment of kind of like in this wacky little chess game going on here, I'm looking at things and how we're saying with Korea is like the last ditch conventional because like if it was a matter of just going into Iran, they already would have to try to do conventional war. So now, because it's becoming less and less of an option, because everyone in the world is like, screw that, and so now it's coming to this point where, that last card has to be played. And this is one of the things I want to talk to Stephen Bassett tomorrow about, is that, because like how you're saying, it's like there's two sides of that coin too, in the sense that like how you either try to pin something on a different race or you make up one. And then
well, I'm glad you said that, Jerry, because this is exactly what Alfred and I were talking about yesterday on Skype. That it's the same exact thing. You either blame an off-planet race or you make one. And right now, this Festival of Enlightenment is pinpointing the savior of light working to be the Pleiadians. Yet there's some information that Alfred has relayed to me that I will allow Alfred to discuss, because it is from his work and it's for him to discuss. So I highly encourage you guys to get Alfred on the show.
Absolutely, I'd love to have him on the show. Absolutely.
Because, and if you want, I can make that happen, because and also Robert Morningstar too, because of the information he's got. So those two I highly recommend.
Oh, absolutely. The exopolitics is something that we really have to bring to the table in a practical way.
Yeah.
So I hope that's one of the things I really hope we do here at the show is bring that subject to mainstream in a sense. You know what I mean? So at least in terms of the mainstream of this information sharing network that's going on for the truth, and that what we're doing here is reporting on the stuff that you're not going to see on Fox, and get that into that mainstream movement of the main underground movement there. Absolutely. So I definitely love to have Alfred Weber on, because these are all important subjects, because I think as we've seen, I'm sure a lot of people who especially listen to the show have seen some of these videos on YouTube of kind of odd things, or like strange meteors and things like that sort of disappear once and such. And really, like, if you, and how I'm sure you and Alfred probably got into this about how the political snafu you get into when you try to pin something on one race or exalt one race, because then all the other races have to get in, and then but then the other one is trying to keep everyone completely shielded with this complete illusion of something else.
Real quick, I'm going to make a comment about something I see in the chat room from Universal Awareness. What I was saying about the Pleiadians was relayed to me by this member of the plan committee for Festival of Enlightenment about the Pleiadians being some kind of saviors. So to answer or to reply to your comment, that information that I was stating was from the Festival of Enlightenment people, or at least the little group that is part of it. Because again, this whole thing is this Festival of Enlightenment is a giant onion. And it's taken some work to peel away the layers. But what's interesting is that there has been a lot of I feel that we're going to be seeing a lot more UFOs, but they're not going to be the UFO. They're going to be government, military, black ops craft.
IFOs.
And because now the tally is up to $16 trillion that have been loaned out by the private Federal Reserve. There is a report of up to 100 cities next year in this country could file bankruptcy. Now Homeland Security is going to get involved with climate change. They also have said that Al-Qaeda is going to attack salad bars and buffets and restaurants here. There's so much I could get into. Our government is getting desperate. There were three, last week there were three civil disobedience demonstrations that happened. Boston, New York, and Washington, D.C., and arrests were made at every single one of them. We're going to be seeing more of that.
Another one in New York, too, over censorship, where they arrested some Pulitzer Prize news reporters and just for protesting over the Smithsonian not allowing this art piece out. They're like, tase them! But you're right. They're definitely getting desperate, because all the mind control crap, all this other stuff, it's not working. I think I've had this conversation on the show before about how the desensitization programs, they really backfired big time on these people. So because this is not working anymore. You can't keep that. You can't keep the spirit down. Really, it's not even just human spirit; it's just spirit. You can't keep spirit down. So this is not going to happen. It's not going to work. So the awareness is really spilling over into the streets now, and so it's good. And I think, and like how you were saying earlier about your move, to kind of keep doing what you feel you excel at is awesome. Because I remember even when you and I first connected, and I was seeing how much news you were posting and how you're presenting it, and I was like, that in itself. And that's one thing I remember telling you, that in itself is invaluable right now because there's not that many people doing it who aren't looking to make a buck, off of doing it at the same time. So, really just doing it to bring people's conscious together, because I think there's plenty of things we can make and commerce we can have to have our own sense of wealth. But this stuff, this is being aware of what's going on now in our world, and we need to.
Jerry, if I may interject real quick.
Oh, yeah, please.
A couple of other things I need to let people know about the Festival of Enlightenment, the Illuminati Festival of Enlightenment, as I'm coining it now. Besides all these big corporations that, I'm not saying they're directly affiliated, but there are a lot of people speaking that are affiliated with that and other things. It's a long story. I'll be getting into it more in detail. I can always come back on the show and get more detail about it. But anyways, they are, there's a prediction that they're going to reach something like a ridiculous number, like 10 million people worldwide. So they're trying to do this on a large scale. And they are also working on being affiliated with, check this out, CNN, ABC, CBS, BBC, Fox, MSN, and more. They want this to get into mainstream media. What have we seen lately? Mainstream media lately has been covering a lot of UFO stuff. Mm-hmm. I find that to be quite interesting in itself. On top of it, too, in their official sponsorship brochure, they have a list of things that they've categorized as worrisome, negative, hateful, and problematic. Now, before I make this statement, I need people to be clear of that I do believe that there's nothing wrong with people owning guns as long as they are law-abiding citizens and not going to use those for nasty intentions. But one of the problems that they say is that there was an increase in this country between 2009 and 2010 of 14 million Americans purchasing guns. Well, why is this happening? Because more and more Americans are waking up and they're afraid of what could happen, and they want to protect themselves. They want to protect if they have home gardens. They're worried, whether they're awake or not. I have ran into a lot of people, and so has Meredith, of people who are simply saying, I feel something coming. So why would this big organization say that? Is there an underlying tone? Are they saying, don't buy guns, everything will be okay. Everything will be okay. Don't worry.
The fairies and unicorns. Please.
Yeah.
It'll be okay.
It's garbage. We have a right in this country to own weapons. It's not a problem. It's only a problem if you take that weapon and you use it maliciously to hurt someone else. But if you feel you need that gun to protect yourself or as a home defensive means,
or just have fun with.
Right
or just
to
have fun
off.
Shoot. Yeah, just shoot targets, by all means. Yeah, no, you're right, absolutely. And I think that whole demonization of guns obviously is part of that mind control aspect of the other facet of of that same apparatus of it's for your protection. See, even though it's statistically been proven that the guns that people buy illegally aren't involved in the crimes as much as the ones that just come from wherever. So it's a lame argument. They can't win it, and it's ridiculous. I mean, because
I'm going to fire another comment. I'm going to fire another comment. Universal awareness. Universal awareness says with the high tech they have guns. With the high tech, they have guns will not assist at all. We have none here in the UK. And then says, what do you say to all the people in other countries who have no guns, that they are all lost? No, I'm not saying that. See, this is my aggravation with shows. People people hear what I'm saying, but they're not listening to what I'm saying.
Well, Eric, real quick, can I just jump in?
I should just stop reading chat rooms when I'm on shows because of this kind of dribble. And I'm sorry, Universal Awareness, if you don't like what I'm going to say, but wake the hell up. I said I have no problem with people buying guns, and I didn't say that the people who don't have guns are going to be lost. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying that there's nothing wrong with people who are law-abiding citizens to purchase guns in case they need to protect themselves, because we are on the cusp of martial law. I believe that. And if a person doesn't have guns in another country, then I just hope that they're able to protect themselves in other means. But no, I'm not saying because you don't have a gun that you're lost. There are many ways that people can protect themselves. So,
and Aaron, can I just jump in real quick when you get on the subject?
Before I really get heated up.
Well, just because
getting a gun is not waking up. I'm just asking if you think guns is the way. Did I say guns are the way? No. Okay. I'm just going to ignore the challenge because Universal Awareness is not listening to me.
It's all good, dude. Okay, this is all I'm going to say. I'm going to kick down some reality for people. Okay, because if they quote unquote implement martial law in some place, let's say like United States, UK, Australia, one of these places like that. Okay, guess what's going to happen? Illegal guns are going to flow in through the borders like crazy. There's going to be AKs in everyone's hands because all the interests who are going against them are going to start helping the resistance. And that just happens in every single country that this ever happened in. So, and not likewise with all the tech. Doesn't matter. Well, ask the Iraqis, ask the Afghanis. They're doing a pretty good job, okay? And they're popping off AKs while we're launching javelins at them. We're dropping daisy cutters. We're using stuff we don't even know about, and they're still giving us a problem, aren't they, with those AKs? Because it doesn't matter.
Exactly. It doesn't. It doesn't matter.
So, because you and I owe another fair because we can assess those logistics of those battlefield mechanics for one reason or another. I'm into history and sports basically, so that's how I come. You came from practical background. And it's like, but either way, a lot of people don't have that perspective, and so when they hear this stuff, they kind of flip and freak, and because it gets into all the programming about all this stuff, whether they're conscious or not. But realistically, if you get informed, if you look through history, you see what happens. It's not that easy. So,
right.
And everyone should be prepared, though. I mean, because it's like, and here in America, it's all right. So,
by no means am I promoting or encouraging violence. Mm-hmm. Just because someone purchases a gun, or I encourage people to purchase a gun, that's not promoting violence. But the fact of the matter is that not if, when this financial collapse comes to surface, I fear for the people of this country and throughout the world. And when it comes down to it, you got to make a choice. Do you allow people to overrun your garden or your home supplies, or do you do what you can to protect yourself and your loved ones? It's not an easy choice, but you better damn well be ready to make that choice. That's all I'm saying, by any means necessary to protect yourself.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think it's just practical thinking. And forgive me, everyone, if my signal's kind of going weird. We're having a storm here, so my phone signal's kind of wacky. But yeah, it's just good to be prepared for whatever. I mean, no matter where you live, there's usually some kind of natural disaster that can happen, or anything, or just exercise your rights in your own country. Because if you don't, that's when they start whittling them away because they think you're not looking. So,
right.
So yeah, exercise those rights in all ways.
Absolutely.
So yeah, we have about 6 minutes here. Is there anything else you want to jump into, like what we're talking about here? Like, is there anything you can maybe touch upon with like Korea, like you're talking about, or?
Oh well, there's a lot going on in Korea, and unfortunately, we don't have enough time for me to get into it. But I'm just, I'll just say this, and I don't have all the research or information done yet. But if people want to tune into in about an hour, I'm going to be on Project Information Generation, and North Korea is one of the big topics we're talking about in that show. But I have intel confirmed from a source that is very reliable, who works for the Department of Defense, of secret movement that has been happening, not mentioned in the media, of submarines heading to North Korea, but we don't have enough time simply to talk about that now. So if everyone wants to tune into, again, Project Information Generation Radio, it's a round table. It starts in about an hour, I think. Yeah, in an hour.
I think it starts at, actually, a half hour after this show. It starts at 2.
Does it? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sure my little reminder thing will go off, but, yeah, maybe a half hour, whatever it does, yeah.
Yeah, but everyone, tune into to Project Information Generation. It's an awesome channel with their various hosts, and they always bring this kind of information. I think a lot of people in the chat room and our regular listeners are aware, but we're definitely allies here, all here. So head on over there.
Yeah, remember, like Jeff Harvey says, we're all in this together, and we need to stick together. But people need to look at both sides of things.
Mm-hmm.
I have no problem with people that want to that have different views. I respect everyone's opinion, but I get very aggravated when people aren't looking at the reality of things and want to live in a fantasy world. Aaron McCollum is back in his mindset of getting the facts out, not pulling punches, and whether people like it or not, I'm going to express exactly what I found and my opinion on it, and in a way try to assist people the best I can.
Mm-hmm.
So if people don't like my information, that's fine. But I'm not going to stop doing what I'm doing.
Yeah, absolutely not. We can't at this point, especially when in that proverbial arm wrestling match going on, we've just went over the top a bit. You know what I mean? And it's just we definitely can't stop now. It's starting to pull in our favor. There's again fewer and fewer places for the ones who are really responsible to run, and those who aren't responsible are saying, "Hey, I'm gonna be damned if I'm gonna go down for this guy." So there's gonna be a lot more of that, I'm sure. So because they're already throwing each other to the wolves right now. I mean, look at Madoff, right? Look at look at the Vatican actually right now with them seizing their funds, and then on top of the WikiLeaks stuff, and so it's already happening. It's already kind of turning in on itself. So yeah, we definitely need that movement to keep on moving for sure. So, but it's good to know. I'm sure everyone in listening in the chat room and in the archive is going to be happy that that hope is back, the fire is lit, still going, that hurricane's churning, because absolutely need it right now.
Yeah, you could say that I'm back. I'm staying away for good from being a radio show host, because that's just not what I do best. So I'm back at doing what I do best, and I will continue on, and I will not stop. I'm just doing it the way I do it best. So there you have it.
Yeah, very cool. So yeah, we're just about out of time here, anyways, and
okay.
So thank you very much, Aaron, and of course you're always welcome back at your baby here to talk about whatever you want to, or vent, or whatever you.
No, it's not my baby; it's everyone's baby.
Well, you're like Johnny Appleseed there for a lot of us, and so we have to admit, because it's like
Well, I appreciate it. And I do appreciate everybody in the chat room for listening in. Thank you very, very much, and keep tuning into this great show.
Cool. Thanks for the endorsement there. And yeah, everyone, go ahead and head over to Project Information Generation Radio, which is blogtalkradio.com/pig radio, and you'll hear more of Aaron going off even more in lots of cool ways with all kinds of informative stuff about Korea. So we're going to toss that ball right on over there. And be sure to tune in tomorrow, where we'll be having our guest for 2 hours, which is Stephen Bassett. We'll be tying in a lot of these current events and political doohickeys into exopolitics. And it'll always be good times as we bring that awareness here at the Universal Truth Evolution. So thanks again, Aaron. And
thank you.
Yeah, we'll see everyone next time, and we'll play us on out with a little chemtrail, shall we? I love that song. So, thank you, everyone, and we'll see you all next time.
Into a dinosaur, a whale, a mermaid, and a plane. The mermaid was pregnant, and then it turned into a Doberman. And the Doberman just turned back into the sky. Then I saw a real plane flying awfully low, man, dropping toxic chemicals all over my town. help us, but they're just trying to hold us down and try and take away our clouds and replace them with their own crop dust in downtown. They just say it's the ozone, but they don't care about your home. They're just trying out new ways of population control. We're young and we're bold. We can throw away their laws and replace them with our own. And the story will be told about the group of young adults who overthrew the throne, shone a light on just how bright this world could surely shine. Utopia works conceptually, but even in reality, to overthrow the state, we all gotta be in the right state of mind. I saw a bird today, I watched it fly away, and in my heart I knew I had to do the same. Town's really gotten to me, the streets smell rotten to me, and I still can't stand those goddamn fucking planes. But they're only flying now, someday they'll be bombing town. They already started a secret chemical war. They've taken all we had and still want more. Sky is saturated with rain, I swear I'm not insane. It's going to pour, it's going to pour. So don't you use no phone, cause the government can bug anybody's home. So don't walk the streets alone, cause they might steal you in the night without your family being told. But we're young and we're bold, and we can throw away their laws and replace them with our own. And the story will be told about the group of young adults who overthrew the throne, shone a light on just how bright this world could surely shine. Utopia works conceptually, but even in reality, to overthrow the state, we all gotta be in the right state of mind. We all gotta be in the right state of mind. There's no telling just how far